On today's show, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, but let's get started. Have Arsenal finally made a bid for Youri Tielemans? As reported today by Ben Jacob and The Sun, Youri Tielemans, there has been a bid submitted. Also, the £65 million transfer for the Lazio superstar, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. Could it be on the cards for Arsenal? All this and more, we're going to get into it on today's show. Also, Fabrizio Romano said Arsenal will fight to the very end to tip Manchester United to the signing of Lisandro Martinez. We're also linked to the Brazilian Paqueta over there in France, and a shocking possible alternative to Raphinha in Marco Asensio. Let's look into it today on EGTV. Yes, people, what's going on? It's the Kitty G on EGTV, and we're back again with another video. And I got Colleen back. Colleen, we found you. We finally found you. It's been a minute. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Had a tough end to the season again. I needed a break. Needed like a break from everything.
You know what? Yeah, it almost brought me to tears, but we're good. We're back to football. We're back to good times. The transfer window is where we specialize, where we can just speculate, be positive, and then come the season, reality strikes, and we're back to the same old.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's get on to it, because since you've been gone, we've actually signed some players. I don't know if you know this, but we signed Marquinhos, we signed Fabio, Vieira, we signed Gabriel Jesus. Like, how do you feel about those signings first before we go any further? Because I haven't spoken to you about the new signings.
I mean, obviously, Jesus is the main star out of the three, the pick of the bunch. And we have a squad with a Mohammed and a Jesus in it. Can you really complain? I feel like you can't.
A spiritual spine. That's what they call it.
No evil will come towards Arsenal with that in the squad. But the Fabio Vieira one took me by, I think, like everyone else, by surprise. Came out of the blue. It's a good young signing. I can't say I've seen much of him, but if your name's Vieira, you've got a little something on your side. My only concern with him was that he's younger, and I was looking for a bit more experience this summer, but that doesn't mean that isn't going to happen. Like, I'm sure we'll touch on a few names later today. Marquinhos, who doesn't love a good Brazilian talent? So yeah, but Jesus is probably the marquee, especially if we don't get like a name like Raphinha or something.
Are you particular about Eddie Nketiah getting the 14 shirt? Because I know a lot of people were upset about that.
I'm not upset, but I was like, it didn't make sense to me, if I'm honest with you. I think because it's such an iconic shirt, it's always going to be hard when someone gets that number. But I don't know whether it's a big step up and a big statement. I don't know if he's actually earned the weight of that shirt yet. But I mean, I was shocked, but you know, here we are. I'm not going to knock him for it, but it's a lot of weight on his shoulders now.
There you go. And just before we go to the comments for the first couple comments of the day, Gabriel Jesus, we've been doing like a questionnaire to everybody. Over under 15 goals in the league. What do you think?
Ooh, because he's going to be our main. He's going to be our main striker for sure. Yeah. And I would tip him if we play the way that we know that we can play, and in moments that we played, or in 6 or 7 periods of games, a little bit more consistently next season, especially if we get a little bit better with our creativity. I don't see why he can't score more than 15. I know that some people will look at his stats from before. He's been a decent goal scorer, but he's not scored, 20 plus or anything like that. But just in the Premier League. But he's never been week in, week out. He's always had to battle it out with someone like Aguero or something like that. I think he's relishing it. If you've seen the videos and the interviews of him, I think he's really relishing being the main man. I think someone like him, especially with the World Cup, just a few months away, and he's battling it out with another Brazilian in North London now. So I think there's a lot of motivation there for him.
There you go. You know what? This I just have to put this out. Every stream we're going to be asked about this until it's something concrete comes out. And until something concrete comes out, I'm going to say the exact same thing. I'm waiting for more information. waiting for more clarity on the situation. There's always stuff that we know in football and stuff that we don't know about. Right now, they're drip feeding us information about this whole situation with a Premier League footballer having being accused of a situation and actually being arrested. So we don't know if it is an Arsenal player at this moment in time, but there is speculation around that. I'm not going to add to that speculation. I'm just going to wait and see what is actually true and what is not true. I don't want to do if, buts, and maybes. I just want to work on absolute information that we have at this moment in time. So let's put that on the back burner and let's wait for another day to discuss that, because at this moment in time, we don't have any evidence or any clear pointing in that player's direction. But what are you saying, Colleen? Like, you agree with me, right? We just move on and just keep it moving on to the next
1,000%. It's a sensitive situation until we know facts. There's no point tweeting about it, commenting about it, because there's nothing to say. And if what you're saying is incorrect, you could get into a big load of trouble. So let's just keep it stepping until we know something for a fact.
There you go. Now, just moving on to the first topic of the day. I don't know if you know this, Colleen, but we've been after Youri Tielemans for a good over a year now. And it seems like today there's been a breakthrough. It seems like there's been a very, very big update on the whole Youri Tielemans deal. And it looks like Arsenal could even get this deal sorted very, very soon. Now, the Sun are known for not being the most reliable when it comes to news, but Mark Irwin is very reliable when it comes to his news that he provides. And what he's reported is that Arsenal are about to make a bid for around £30 million for Youri Tielemans. Now, Leicester were looking for around 25 to 35 million. So 30 million might be just enough to get the deal done. And I've asked everyone in the comments, do you think this is obviously this is a good deal for Arsenal, getting a Premier League proven midfielder for around 30 million. But do you think Leicester will accept that bid? And we do have some Leicester fans in the comment section telling us that, what did he say? He said 30 million is the price. It's up to Arsenal to make the bid. It looks like Arsenal have made the bid. So, Colleen, do you think this is a good bid, or do you think this is like just obviously this is a good news, or what do you think?
Yeah, I do think it's good news. I was a little bit skeptical like you when I heard the Sun, but you're right, Mark Owen is a very reliable source. It does make me question though why it's taken to this point. Maybe we're focusing on other things, because this has been something we've known about for a while. We've been interested in Tielemans. I think as well what might have played into a factor of it is that Leicester trying to get him to sign a 1-year extension to get a bit more money for him, because they know he'll go next season on a free. But for 30 million, you can't really turn your nose up at that in this day and age, and the money that's thrown around in football, that is very, very cheap. I think last season, I don't think any real Leicester player had a good season with Rodgers, to be honest. But we all know what he is capable of, and we need a little bit more experience in that midfield, especially to come in and out, and to also be competitive against our current Arsenal players. So for 30 million, you'd hope this would be an easy one, in and out, and done very quickly, hopefully.
You know what? I'm just gonna show you that all the corroborating reports are now coming out. Ben Jacobs reporting that this is also happening. So it's not just one person. This is what I love to see, when you see supporting other journalists also coming out with similar information. So you got Ben Jacobs coming out saying Youri Tielemans is apparently waiting for a bid to land from Arsenal, could be in the region of 30 million. You have the Sun, same report, saying Arsenal are ready to launch a £30 million bid. But this is the part I love to hear. Confident beating Manchester United to the Leicester Star. As you know, he is one of those players who has an affinity to Arsenal and wants to join Arsenal because, of course, Belgian, French, they very much have an affinity to Arsenal because of the French core that we had in the early years. Also, you have the Sun here with another exclusive. And then here's more details around 3 hours ago. Youri Tielemans is clearly keen on being a major player in Arsenal's rebuild process, has yet to sign that it will not end. Arteta will have a spending spree, although resigning to missing out on Raphinha despite the £55 million bid tabled. It looks like Arsenal are ready to splash the cash, Colleen. And we haven't spoken about all these things. So what do you think about that? It looks like we had a bid rejected for Raphinha. He's now moved on, but we're still looking to splash the cash. How good is this? Like, I haven't seen this type of money in a while.
Yeah, I think obviously it's great. We've all been very skeptical over the Cronkies, especially once they got fully owned Arsenal moving forward. And we've seen all their other teams start to do well and pick up silverware. And obviously we've known to pick up an FA Cup here or there, but we all know we want to be back at the top, and that's going to take time, of course, but it also takes a lot of investment. And I think last summer proved to us that there's money to spend and that we have to trust them in terms of their talent ID. Edu, Mikel Arteta. It does feel like, though, we're not the only ones who are willing to spend, in the region of between 120 to 200 million this summer. You've got Tottenham who are finally splashing the cash. You've got United who are obviously always going to splash the cash. And with Chelsea's new owner. So it's exciting. You can't, this is what you want to see after 2 years of this kind of COVID world, everyone being tight with their money, not having a lot in the Prem. And now we're really going to see what the Premier League's about going into next season. Like, you can't not be excited, but from an Arsenal perspective, long may this continue. We need the reinforcements.
100%. Now, people are just saying this could be just the Sun obviously is not, people are saying the Sun's not as reliable. I get that. But when you have the Sun reporting it, you have CBS journalists reporting it, you have journalists across the board reporting it, even Leicester journalists are now speaking about preparing for a bid. So it's corroborated by many different people. It's not just one source. But yeah, I do understand the skepticism over that. And I did mention that at the beginning before we got started on the Leicester thing. But there is also more. I don't know if you know, he's not the only midfielder we're after, Colleen. We are after, it seems like we're after we're trying to get a lot of work done this window.
Yeah.
Report from Fabrizio Romano, who is a very well-respected journalist, speaking about the Youri Tielemans deal himself. And he said that Arsenal are looking at Youri Tielemans, but they're also looking at Milinkovic-Savic. So let me just pull this tweet up for you guys. So this was yesterday. So, of course, information has been updated by then. But this was the report yesterday from Fabrizio Romano on the Milinkovic-Savic thing. He said, Arsenal are weighing up the possibilities of signing the Leicester midfielder Youri Tielemans more than the Lazio star Milinkovic-Savic, according to Fabrizio Romano. Personally, some people would say we need both. But yeah, this just goes to show you we have our priorities set on Milinkovic-Savic. We have our priorities set on Youri Tielemans. And this segues perfectly onto the Milinkovic-Savic thing. Do you know much about him?
I mean, I can't say I've watched him closely in Serie A, to be honest with you, but I do like his profile from what I have seen. And he's a little bit more experienced, a little bit older as well. And I do think if he doesn't leave this summer, I do think he'll leave the following summer, to be honest. It really depends on where Arsenal are going to go. If you're picking between Tielemans and Milinkovic-Savic, you probably will go for Tielemans just because of if you're looking at price, age, Premier League proven. If we had to pick one, I would go with Tielemans, but I'd be happy with either. But I would like two midfield additions, putting Vieira to one side, to be honest with you. But I feel like I'm not too sure if this Milinkovic-Savic thing is more general talk, maybe on his part, an agent talk rather than so much coming from the Arsenal end. We'll see. I do think it's Tielemans, or then we might have to assess if we don't get him.
Yeah, people are asking for a stats comparison. That's going to take a second, but but I fully agree with you, Colleen. The Premier League proven part is a big factor. Experience. They both add experience, much needed experience to our team, and they're both upgrades on Granit Xhaka at this moment in time. I hope everyone would agree with me there. When it comes to goals and assists, they're not specifically like our midfield lacks goals. They both add goals into our midfield. They both add more creativity to our midfield. And I would say they both have the technical ability that an Arsenal player would need. So I get why we would go after those players, but one is worth 30 and the other one is worth 65 mil. Yeah. And is rated as one of the best midfielders in the Serie A. Do you really think it's feasible? Do you think it's possible that we can get him? Because his agent is a former Chelsea player. He's been linked to Chelsea before. And you know how Chelsea are working this window. They're literally just trying to hijack everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just came out of nowhere trying to take this Milinkovic-Savic deal from us.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think especially with Chelsea, every day is something different. It's like Todd B is going out on a bit of a chaotic spree. But my first preference is Tielemans, so I wouldn't care if he went elsewhere. If we couldn't land Tielemans, then we get into territory of K. If he is our second choice, or whoever is our second or third choice. That's when we get into that kind of territory where things could get a little bit more tense.
Okay, so people, let me know what you want to compare, because obviously just comparing goals is not enough. I'm going to compare their passing completions, pass attempts, chance creation, assists. I have it ready. Is there anything else, Colleen? Duels, aerial duels? Is that something you'd want to see in the midfield?
Yeah, why not? Let's just throw them all in. I don't think it's gonna. If it's going off the back of last season, especially, I don't think it's gonna look too good for Tielemans, if I'm honest with you, considering the season that most Leicester City players had. Yeah. But let's have a look.
Let's have a look. So can you see this clearly?
Yeah.
Okay, so on your left you have Youri Tielemans. On your right you have Milinkovic-Savic. Okay, so obviously he played 5 more games, but we're gonna do this on a per 90. No, we're gonna do this on a total, right? And then you can see here ball recoveries very close actually, considering that he played less games. If you look per 90, actually, yeah, Youri Tielemans has more goals. You can see that it's a little bit more. Assists, chance creation, pass attempts, pass completions, aerial duels. He's a lot more. Clearances, surprisingly, Youri Tielemans has more clearances. Interceptions, he's more, and blocks. So it just goes to show you, statistics prove that that we're currently looking at least what we're judging them on right now, that Milinkovic-Savic slightly edges him in the creation and goal scoring and just overall build-up play. But guess what? In a Leicester team and a bad season, we already knew that it wasn't going to look so good for Youri Tielemans. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but also Milinkovic-Savic was playing in a better side last season, I guess. He finished 5th in Serie A, and Leicester did not have a great season last year, from what we expect from a Leicester side and everyone in it. So I'm still quite calm and my wagon is hitched to Tielemans, to be honest with you. I'd rather us get that over with sooner than later. I don't know whether I'm going to pick up now, or because it seemed like something we could have done a little bit earlier, because it seems like fairly simple in terms of he either signs an extension and doesn't go, or he has to be sold this summer because he's gone for a free. So hopefully, if we just put in what Leicester want, that'll be signed, sealed, and delivered.
Boom. Now, reports coming out that we've made an improved bid for Milinkovic-Savic. Now, once again, I have to tell you guys, during the transfer window, there's a lot of stuff that we hear that we don't know if it's legitimate or what's going on with that, like the validity of those bids. But the Standard Sport, I don't know who these guys are. Standard Sport, Evening Standard, Evening Standard have reported that Arsenal have made a bid in the region of 47 or 45 million pounds for the Lazio midfield for the Lazio midfielder. Now, I know for a fact it's not going to do it, Colleen. They want around 65 million pounds, so we're about 20 million off the valuation. But this is just normal Arsenal business. We always submit one bid, never really go all the way in until later. So yeah, as you can see here, Arsenal are expected to make a second bid this week for Milinkovic-Savic for around 65 million. And then I seen earlier here, Lazio, he will cost around an excess of 50 million. Personally, I think if the club submits 50 million plus Torreira, they'll take it because they're interested in Torreira. But yeah, what do you think about this whole Milinkovic-Savic saga?
I don't know. I'm not convinced. I would like 2 more midfielders, experienced ones. I'm not convinced that's what Arsenal are going to do. If I'm honest with you, I feel like it's going to be one or the other. I think if we do get a second midfielder, it'll be later in the window once we sort out the left back situation and another winger. I just don't see. I'm not saying that we can't not in for Milinkovic, but I think if we're more in for Tielemans, I just don't see us putting in a bid for both right now. It just doesn't. I don't see that making sense in the way Arsenal operate, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, you know what? People are saying, look at your source. My source was not Monty. My source was the Evening Standard, which he was quoting. If you want, I can bring up another person who's echoing the exact same thing. 1 second. You know how people are. Anyways.
By the way, it's good news that we're being linked to midfielders. It's a problem area for Arsenal. We need more depth in. We've got 5 subs rule now. It's permanent. So, that's why I say I would like to. Don't know if Arsenal will actually. I think that might be even dreamland for us if we get another left back or winger and midfielder, and then another midfielder on top of that after the business we've already done. then I think we're in dream.
People, there's no need for hate in the comment section. If you see a Leicester fan in the chat, let them be in the chat. Why do you let's stop this whole that was a terrible incident that happened to their owner. There's no need to make jokes about that. That is disgusting. Also, people in the chat, hit that like button right now. We got a question in the house. Egal Colleen, are you worried that the Tielemans off the ball and his lack of awareness and at times lazy? I think this is a myth. Honestly, I really do believe he's good on the ball. I think everyone just seen that clip of him against West Ham. You probably seen it also, where he's chasing Declan Rice and he just kind of like gave up. I think it's at the end of the game. He was very tired, and if the game is in front of him, he's a great player. And if you have somebody next to him who can help him. And when it comes to this whole thing about him being lazy, we just seen when it comes to ball recoveries, he's one of the best. He's one of the best. Last season, he was one of the better midfielders for ball recoveries. So I think this thing is overstated a little bit. But yeah, what do you think, Colin?
I mean, I agree. Arteta is fully at the realm here when it comes to who's in and out of Arsenal. And that is such an important factor for Arteta. We've heard him say the non-negotiables so many times. If he genuinely believed that, I don't think we'd be in for him. And again, I'm kind of almost writing off most Leicester City players last season, if I'm honest with you, because it was just awful all round. I think I'm not saying he can't improve. I do think positionally he could be a little bit better, but that also means it's also the tactics and the way the team he's playing for is currently playing. So yeah, maybe I'm just happy that we're just going to get a midfielder that I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. But I think he's a huge talent. And I think we're kind of lucky that no one else is at the minute in for him, because again, it's a very cheap price in this day and age. And he's got a year left. So, I mean, hopefully I've not jinxed it. Touch wood.
I said, don't worry, I'll knock on it for you. I just had myself muted because I was setting up something. Just before we move on to the next thing, guys, do me a favor. We have 41 likes only. We have 105 of you guys in the chat. You could easily hit at least 80 likes on that video right now. So go do that. Take a second, hit that like button, and we got a lot more to discuss. So don't worry, don't go anywhere. People saying, Colleen, big fan of yours, that they want you to start your own channel.
Won't be happening anytime soon. But you'll catch me on EGTV and the Terrace, of course.
There you go. Big up Egan and Colin. Big up Games FC. 25-30 million is decent. Yeah, 25-30 million is decent. People are saying Basuma is clear. You know what? We all would have liked Basuma. You got yourselves a good player. There's no need to rub it in, right? Let's just move on. Let's talk about Fabrizio Romano and the whole Raphinha thing. Did you see the mystery? Like, I don't get why they do these kind of things. They're trying to, they know fans love seeing stuff like this, and the mystery and the mysteriousness of these tweets sometimes. It's just very interesting. So Fabrizio Romano, when speaking about the alternative for Raphinha, had this to say, and he said, on Arsenal's Raphinha alternative, I have an indication, but I can't speak yet, because I have to check. I want to make sure I mention the right name. So people are saying he's implying that we have a Raphinha replacement on the cards, but he's not telling us who it is, because he wants to double check, cross check, make sure he has all his T's and I's crossed before he tells us anything. Who do you think the mysterious man could be?
Well, I mean, we've all seen the kind of rumors of who it could be, which I'm sure you're going to touch on shortly afterwards. Yeah. Like Asensio and whatnot. But I don't think so. I think it could be someone less of a profile, to be honest with you. Doesn't mean any less good, but I think it's normal when you go into a transfer window, you have your top target, second, third, So I don't think there's anything to be concerned about if we don't get Raphinha, which is looking less likely, but not out of it yet. No one's got a bid confirmed yet. But I honestly don't have a clue who Arsenal would be looking at, considering how Vieira came out of nowhere. I don't know. I feel like I know who you're probably thinking. Who do you think it is?
You know what? There's just people just throwing out a million names. So just to be 100% clear, guys, we don't know who the mystery man that he's discussing is, but the reports saying you got Asensio, You got somebody here threw in Musa Diaby.
Yeah.
Because Newcastle are heavily linked to him also, and they could possibly get the signing done for 50 million. So that's a quality player right there. People saying Olise from Palace. I don't think that's it. No, I don't think that's it. People saying Sarr. I don't see any reports for Sarr. This could be also it. Reports that
as well.
I heard that he's been linked to us. I even seen someone tweeting about it. Where is he playing right now? Valencia, am I wrong?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right. Yeah, I was literally reading about him just a minute ago before we went on. Because before I logged on, I just saw that tweet as well.
Valencia.
Valencia, yeah.
This I don't know. I don't think those links are strong right now, so we need to wait. People saying Zaha. I don't know about Zaha. I don't know about Zaha.
No,
Definitely
please, God, no.
Gnabry's off the table. I don't know if you heard. Fabrizio Romano said Arsenal are not interested in going for Gnabry at this moment in time. So,
I knew as soon as he was linked to us, I was like, it's not gonna happen. It's not.
Pedro Neto from Wolves was linked to us because he's an Arsenal fan, but I don't think there's any legs to it. He just said in an interview, I'm an Arsenal fan, or I was an Arsenal fan. Rafael Leao, not happening.
No, I don't see it happening.
100 million plus AC Milan's going to ask for.
So we already know that we're looking to spend around 55 million pounds on a winger. And probably a little bit more, maybe, but that's kind of the ballpark we're in. So we need to look at player IDs who are going to cost that much. Anyone who's like astronomically bigger than that, it's not happening. We've got so many areas to address. I mean, no one knows how much money Arsenal's got. Everyone's already freaking out. But I don't.
It seems that Arsenal moved away from Gakpo also. Remember, we were linked to Gakpo.
Yes, I wasn't a fan, if I'm honest with you. I wasn't on the train, was not on the hype train. Not saying you can't develop into something, but it's just a lot of the excuses last season from a lot of people was the inexperience and age thing. And I think going into this season, and Arteta must be feeling this as well, considering in the manner that we missed out in Champions League. And this is no slight at Gakpo, but we do need more experience because we can't say going into next season, Arteta's third season now? Maybe it's technically his third. That can be an excuse for underachieving or failing.
Let me ask you about this one. This one's wild, absolutely wild. Cristiano Ronaldo.
I saw that as well. Yeah, if he's not in Europa for Man United, he's not playing in the Europa for Arsenal.
You know what? I don't get how these kind of tweets actually get traction.
Like, he wants Champions League. He does not want to play in the Europa League. We are in the Europa League. It's not us. Chelsea, you never know. I mean, we've heard with Jorge Mendes, but it's not Arsenal. So if you think it is, get out your head. He does not play Europa. It's not happening.
The only person who really wants him is Piers Morgan. I don't know about anyone else who's been mentioning him.
I mean, listen, if he did sign for us, I'd go mental, but like it wouldn't be the right move and all that kind of stuff. But just for name's sake, you'd go mental. But
where would we?
Arsenal.
Would Ronaldo get us any better in like he would make us a better goal scoring team, but would he make us better in the long term? Would it benefit us?
The situation United are in right now. That's why a lot of United fans are like, I can't blame him for going, but also even though he did score a lot of our goals, the collective of the team with him being in it, the amount you have to sacrifice, it's just, is it worth it for someone who's 37? No.
People are saying Wolves, Neto. People are saying Leroy Sané, Iga. Everyone like and subscribe. Shout out Colleen too. Big up to Hussam in the chat, guys. You already know This Is Football. Go subscribe to This Is Football. That's my guy right there. Hussam, tell Iga and Colleen why Oxlade-Chamberlain would be perfect for Arsenal. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Ronaldo would be much better at Arsenal. Got everyone around him doing the work. That is true. That is true. But we still don't need Ronaldo, in my opinion. Leroy Sané, somebody said. I don't think so.
Wouldn't happen. I wouldn't like it. Wouldn't happen though.
The Arteta factor. He's worked with him before. Never gonna happen. Adama Traore. Never gonna happen. No. You know what happened? They rejected an £80 million bid for him. Then they rejected a £50 million bid for Tottenham. He went to Barcelona and took 100K per week paid deduction. And then now he's coming back and he has no spot in the Wolves team, no spot in the Barcelona team, and nobody wants to sign him. Absolutely messed up his career by going to Barcelona for a loan.
But bad business by Wolverhampton as well.
Hey, Tottenham almost bought him for 50 million in January.
Bad business.
I would have if they would have got him instead of Kulusevski, maybe it would have been worse.
Yeah.
So it saved them
Yeah.
our loss, obviously. But
Yeah.
yeah, moving on to the Lisandro Martinez news, though. Did you hear about what happened with the Lisandro Martinez news? Because to give you a quick synopsis, apparently Man United are going to get him, but we're not going to give up until the final minutes because we feel like the deal is flimsy and it could fall apart.
Mhm.
So there could be a possibility where Arsenal still get this deal done, but an hour ago, it was reported that Fabrizio Romano, the player, is really pushing for a move to the Premier League, and I think this week it will be finalized for Lisandro Martinez. And I think, let me show you. Well, let me just put this on the screen for you quickly. So this is where it's saying that. So Lisandro Martinez could be finalized this week, and most likely it will go to United. But it does look like Arsenal are not going to give up, and they're going to fight until the very end to try to get this deal over the line.
Mhm.
Until the very end. Is that the right approach, or would you just move away and go on to your next target?
Listen, Arsenal wouldn't be fighting till the end for a player if they didn't think that there was a chance of him coming. And I think there's a couple of factors. So there's a few factors that benefit United and potentially some that benefit Arsenal. Obviously, he's worked for Ten Hag before. That's always nice, especially if you've got a good relationship. But United are looking to utilise him more as a centre back. Where are you looking to utilise him more as a left back? So it also depends on where he would prefer to continue playing moving forward. Now, a lot of people have said that he has played a bit more at centre back, but it doesn't seem to have shied him away because if he had wanted United completely, Arsenal would know by now. They wouldn't keep pushing till the very end, and we would have heard it out of people like Romano's mouth that his priority is Manchester United. Now, obviously, you've got to assess everything on the table, and something that also benefits us is United are notoriously bad negotiators and getting transfers done. They are just awful at it, as I'm sure United fans will say. But I think Arsenal are only spending this time on it because I think there's a genuine chance. But if we don't get him, I would like us to move on from this left back situation very quickly. And whoever's someone else that we want to get, nip that in the bud very quickly. I know there's still a lot of time left, but ideally you want everyone in during the pre-season period. You don't really want anything going on as we creep closer to the beginning of the season. So let's see.
Let's see. People, hit that like button right now, guys. How do we only have? Come on, I'm looking at it right now. How do we only have 56 likes? We don't even have 60 likes yet. We have 120 of you guys. At least half of you guys should hit that like button right now. Come on, it's absolutely free. Go do that right now. Take a second, stop what you're doing, and just hit that like button. It's absolutely free. The poll in the chat, people are saying 72% are saying it's a good deal. Arsenal paying 30 million pounds for Youri Tielemans, and they think Leicester will accept that deal. So yeah. I'm going to end this poll and move it on to another poll very, very soon. But before we go any further, continue to hit that like button. Before I came on, I seen this report, and I don't know what you think, but it seems like he's being linked to every single club. Would you take Paulo Dybala from Juventus? Because reports coming out that Arsenal is a possible destination for Paulo Dybala, and I think he's a good player. But I don't know. The wages.
Yeah, I just if this was a couple of seasons ago, I probably would have said yes, 100%. I just think, he's starting to edge towards the 30 mark. I know he's a bit more experienced, but it doesn't seem to fit the kind of profile of player that Arteta wants and that would go into an Arteta system and style of play, if I'm honest with you. That doesn't mean he wouldn't smash it in the Prem. I just don't see it in the way we play and with Jesus. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it myself.
People in the comment section, I don't know what's going on with the audio. People in the comment section, let me know. Would you take Paulo Dybala at Arsenal? Let me know right now. I think I'm going to change the poll to would you take Paulo Dybala at Arsenal? Thumbs up or thumbs down, because and also 150 people voted. 72% said yes, it's a good deal. So Paulo Dybala to Arsenal, yes or no, people? What are we saying in the chat? Let me know what you think. I'm going to put the poll in right now. Paulo Dybala to Arsenal, yes or no? I think Manchester United are very close to a deal for Paulo Dybala also, now that Ronaldo might be leaving. So that could be another destination for him. But of course,
sounds like a typical United signing as well. Not of the old era of United. Whether it's the new era, we'll see. But that seems like a very old era United. And if that's the case, stay well clear.
There you go. Colleen has said it. Stay well clear of Paulo Dybala. And if you don't, guess what? His wage is going to be ridiculous also. That's another factor you have to remember. He'll be our highest paid player. And after just fixing our wage bill, do we really want to do that all over again?
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna. I'd be very surprised. It'd be like one of those random ones towards the end of the season if he hadn't gone anywhere in that, not end of the season, end of the transfer window. Then I'd be more inclined to believe like something crazy has happened. But nah, not for me.
Okay. Moving on. About 10 hours ago, there was an update on this Lucas Paqueta guy. So it seems like Tottenham, Arsenal, and Manchester City all are after him. Now you don't get two Premier League giants and Tottenham coming in for a player unless there's something going on, right? Unless there's something serious about it. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Lucas Paqueta.
I do like Lucas Paqueta, to be honest with you. He fits kind of like the profile and the age profile style of play. I do quite like him. I'm not convinced on the links, if I'm honest with you. Especially if we're being realistic, if a club like Man City is involved, they're quite quick, and I think we would have been sounded out by now, to be honest with you. This kind of just feels like we've been linked with a lot of midfielders in the last few days.
Can I tell you where the links come from? ESPN Brazil. So they're a little bit closer to the players' camp.
Yeah. Don't see it though myself. I like him, wouldn't turn it down. But again, I don't see Arsenal period signing like more than one in that kind of area. So I think it would be a bit later. But I do like him. I do really appreciate the player. I don't see that as Arsenal's transfer strategy right now. I think if that might be something to watch later down the line once we start getting the rest of our business and our primary targets done. I just feel like Tielemans left back and another winger, depending on how the Raphinha one goes. And then maybe I just think it's a bit early for that kind of link.
Boom. Everyone continue to hit that like button. People are saying they agree with you, Colleen, on the Dybala take. Some people saying they'd rather have Lucas Paqueta. Or is that over Tielemans? I'm confused. Personally, I think the Tielemans deal means there is no Lucas Paqueta deal. I think I'm not saying the two players are identical, but I'm just saying I think we would only be signing we'd only be signing Tielemans because he's Premier League proven, and Paqueta might be a potential backup in the case that we don't get Tielemans, because the club's crossing their T's, dotting their I's, making sure they're looking at everything. Paqueta hasn't got his breakthrough yet, but if Milan did not believe in him, there you go. So Milan did sell him to Lyon, so there might be something there. We'll have to wait and see. Not every transfer is black and white, guys. Sometimes people move on for other reasons and they work out better in certain places. Now, there's two more potential transfers that we need to discuss. Marco Asensio. I'm not gonna lie to you, Colleen. When I see Marco Asensio transfer links, I run, because I personally don't believe half the stuff that we read when it comes to Marco Asensio. But here's the first report. The first report is very calm. It says Arsenal can potentially sign the player, but then you hear some wild takes like Arsenal have already bid 25 mil. What? Where did this happen? It's like, how did it go to not being linked to the player to just we bid 25 million? Some people just jump the gun too quick when they write stories. But this one here is believable. Real Madrid have slapped a 25 million euro, 30 million euro price tag on Marco Asensio. His contract is running down in a year, and Arsenal are one of the clubs showing interest. Marco Asensio would be willing to take a pay cut in order to join a convincing project. That does sound realistic. Now hearing this, what do you think?
I mean, that does sound a little bit more realistic. To be honest with you, Marco Asensio is one of those players whose name that everyone will hear and is better than what he actually is, or what he's shown so far at his time at Madrid. I believe that he probably would leave somewhere for a convincing project because he's not a starter for Real. He's got a bit to prove. I'm not sure whether Arsenal would be in for him, but I now trust whoever's coming in, whoever that Arteta would do signings come in after what they did last season. To be honest with you, I don't know if right now it just kind of seems like kind of talk just to try and get him a good deal, depending on where he may go if he's got a contract coming up in a year. And also in that case, you could also just stay another year at Madrid, because it's Madrid. It's not like Leicester. Leave somewhere free and then get massive wages because there's no, and a sign-on fee because there's no transfer. So it really depends on, he might have one eye on the World Cup. Not sure, haven't heard a lot around it, but that doesn't mean things can't speed up around him and Arsenal. But I think that would take a lot of Arteta coaching him really well, because he's not really getting into that Madrid side either.
What about this right here? I think Asensio and Pepe is an improvement. I think Asensio technically is an improvement, and he's more versatile than Pepe. No, Pepe is actually more versatile. Is it an improvement, Asensio to Pepe? Because I'm kind of indifferent thinking about it right now. It's just I don't rate Pepe to a certain degree, and I also don't rate Asensio to a certain degree because he wasn't even playing much for that Real Madrid side. But that Real Madrid side is amazing, so it's not a shame to be not playing for them.
I think my thing is with Pepe, I think there's a few issues with him as why he doesn't work in an Arteta Arsenal, because he doesn't really track back defensively. He's poor, and he's either lights the world on fire or he's just anonymous. And more often than not, if it's not the Europa League, he's anonymous. Now we haven't seen much of Asensio, and Real Madrid don't play the way Arsenal play. Well, they have started to a little bit more in terms of being a bit more defensive and being less dominant with the ball. But again, Asensio is not really in the side to know. So that would have to be more properly scouting and watching him over a period of time. And Arteta being a long time admirer of him for me to believe this link, if I'm honest with you. But I think they're like that. I think we need to see a little bit. It's hard to say. I think Pepe's got to go though.
Injury prone. That is one concern that we have about Asensio also. But of course, 22 million pounds might do it, Colleen. That is a bargain if he does become good.
Yeah. And also, whether Arsenal would or would not, if they got a winger for 22 million, considering that it seemed like our budget for a winger was around 55, 60 million, judging on the Raphinha bids, hopefully that would mean more money reinvested to go get like a target that we thought we couldn't be able to get this summer and have to wait till January of the next window. That also brings that, but you want to bring in, it's not just quantity, it's quality, the right profile, because there's a lot of pressure going in on Arteta going into this next season. And 100%. Make no mistake about it, they have to be very tactical in this window.
100%. But if we do save money, they've shown that they're willing to spend, so maybe they'll refocus that money into another position like left back, like another backup center back, or potentially Onana. I don't know if you've heard about the Onana links, but we are linked to another Belgium midfielder. But this time, this midfielder is 6'3", and he actually is a DM. so the Onana links to me are very interesting because one, we don't know what the situation is with the other situation, so we don't really want to get onto that. But tying into that, if there is a situation where we're missing a player, God forbid, Onana is another DM that can be brought into this team.
Yeah, and I think that might spell a particular short-term future of Lokonga if we bring in someone like that, as well as if we bring in like a DM. I think he'll end up going on loan for that, to be honest with you. It means that Arteta doesn't think he's ready. I miss the days of where you'd have a DM who is over 6 foot and would just literally wipe everyone out. I know it's not necessarily the style of play anymore, and you don't always play with just one sitting back nowadays, but I miss that kind of stuff, that profile of a player. I would not be mad at him coming. Would not be mad at him coming at all. And I think there needs to not just, you need to see much more competition, much more quality competition in Arsenal's midfield, not just in like the cam and like attacking areas of midfield, but also on the more defensively minded midfield. I think we need more competition and more players in there.
Report just came out a couple minutes ago, actually, since we're talking about this. Wow, coincidence.
17, good or bad?
17 minutes ago, Arsenal top targets in midfield is not Youri Tielemans or what? I'm so confused. This is very confusing. The way that it's written, I think it's just tricking me out. Okay, so let me read this again. Arsenal's top transfer target in the midfield is not Youri Tielemans or Amadou Onana. They're keeping quiet on their number one target. The Leicester man's wanted for 30 million, but Arsenal have yet to make an offer, reported by this gentleman here. So is he late to the party? Because there was a bid made today, but this report came out 17 minutes ago.
Well, I mean, I don't. He's also a Belgian journalist. I personally, I can see that being true. If I'm honest with you, if you look at the way we went for Fabio Vieira, I wouldn't be surprised because I did question in terms of why it's taken so long for Tielemans. I mean, we won't know until your Ornsteins of this world of Romanos, confirm it. To be fair, so we'll have to. It might be one to watch.
Hmm. I
We'll
think
see.
I think someone in the comment section already said that. Thank you, Craig. Big up to you for that. But yeah, that's just strange, Colleen. Is that not strange? All season they tell us, like last season, Madison's the target, and then boom, out of nowhere, Odegaard's back to being the target, and now we're hearing that
Yeah.
neither. Now we're hearing Tielemans is not the target again. It's just, I just find
I
that
can
pretty
see that.
strange.
I can see that. Like you said, you mentioned Madison, Odegaard, and like when we first started talking about Tielemans, I was like, why was it done earlier? It just seems like a very simple one to do. It's not a difficult one. Um, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be surprised. Arsenal do have a knack for keeping things out of journalists' mouths. That isn't the most obvious news going around. They do have the knack for a surprise once they know that they can get someone. It might be positive. It might be a midfielder that we didn't know about. Could be nonsense. I guess the next couple of days, next week, will tell us a little bit more.
There you go. There you go. Miguel Azeez is going on loan to Spain. Um, Obviously, I'm not gonna say who reported it because they've lost all credibility. But
Mm.
let me just show you guys. Let me show you guys this. Miguel Azeez is headed on loan. That's a good loan for him. But with
Yeah.
I would have wanted to see him in the Europa League, see how he does in the Arsenal team. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen of him, he seems like a very good prospect. Um, I guess it just really depends on what I think. The reason why you're not going to see him in the Europa League and why he's getting a loan is because Arteta's Arsenal in the Europa League when they've been in it, we've not reached the final. I think he's going to take it very seriously. I don't think we're going to see the biggest kind of rotations that especially you and I are used to back in the day with the early stages of the Champions League and things like that, going way back. And even when we first dropped into the Europa League. So I think it's a good move for him if he can be playing week in, week out in such a technical league such as the Spanish league. Why not go for it?
There you go. I just find it strange that he's going to Spain. I would have thought he would have stayed in the Premier League. I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe it's just me. I just would have thought if he stayed in the Premier League, he would have a better opportunity to understand the game better. I don't know. I just think it's a peculiar move to move away. Also, just to let you know, for Bukayo Saka, there's been a slight update on Bukayo Saka's contract, but it's not really like an update. It's more a quote from a former Arsenal player.
Mm.
We all know we all love Kevin Campbell. He recently did a report where he was speaking on Bukayo Saka, and he said he ruled out any possibility of Bukayo Saka leaving the club. He's when speaking about it, Kevin Campbell speaking about Bukayo Saka's contract situation, he's like he's here to stay. He's not going nowhere. Bukayo Saka is one of the main men at Arsenal, and his contract. Yes, he has 6 months left on his contract, but he most likely will stay. Just to show you guys what he was saying, Arsenal will tie down Bukayo Saka to a new deal in the next 6 months, according to Gunners legend Kevin Campbell, friend of the show. Big up to Kevin Campbell, who thinks Saka is not going nowhere near despite the contract situation. He's under contract already, and we will most likely try to get him a new contract in the next couple months.
Mhm.
And we will not sell him this window. Even if he was sold, I genuinely do believe he would be sold next window if anything does happen. But yeah, do you agree?
Yeah, I think a lot of even over the past since the transfer window started as well, a lot of quite quietly credible people in and around Arsenal have also confirmed that it's probably going to be likely that he signs a new contract. I don't see him leaving myself, and I also would have thought that if he was going to leave, or if that's what his agent or his family and himself was putting out, I think we would have heard of many links of people trying their luck with him this summer, like your big clubs, to test Arsenal's resolve and test how he'd be. And whether I know there's a lot of rival banter and things like that, but Saka is probably going to be a generational talent, to be honest with you. He's such an amazing young prospect, considering how good he is now. Someone would have put a bid in. It'd be public news, a big club would have. I think he's already sounded out he's staying.
I think this comment right here is spot on. He's not going nowhere, but Arsenal fans have PTSD of what Samir Nasri, Van Persie, and all these Ashley Cole situations, all these past situations in the past, just post-traumatic stress from those situations on our fan base. But yeah, Colleen, that's pretty much it. Nothing else really to go on. How do you think we're going to close out the window? Do you think we're going to get in 3 to 4 more players, or if you were to put your money on it, you just say maybe 2 to 3?
I'd be confident in 3. I do think we're going to get a winger. We need a left back. I can't. God love Tavares, but I can't do it next season. And another midfielder, definitely 3. I think maybe a surprise. But I'm also now feeling quite calm about our transfer window. I'm kind of more not concerned, but I'm more watching of who the potential outs might be, because not much has really happened around that.
There was some information about the outgoings. If you want, I can check that for you right now. Because if I'm not mistaken, I was looking at something earlier.
Because I probably would have expected Pepe to be gone by now, and obviously you've got the rumours around Bellerin, but Betis not really matching what we're asking for.
Reece Nelson might be headed out. Gabriel, Martinelli, Magalhaes, and all of these guys, the 3 Gabriels, they're not going nowhere. Saka's not going nowhere. Pepe, his wages are too high to find him alone at this moment in time.
I wouldn't be mad if Pepe stayed, but if we still got another winger in, I wouldn't be mad if he was still there. We just can't go in with just Pepe as the alternative option.
Yeah. Just to let you know, so Leno is most likely going to be going. Leno is one that's going to be going 100%. Torreira is literally twerking on his Instagram for his team, like he was using a rubber band dancing on it. It was weird. And then you have Ainsley Maitland-Niles. He's going to be headed somewhere, but at this moment in time, whoever's looking to buy Ainsley Maitland-Niles, they're not really coming in with cash. They're kind of just like, let's go for a loan. And then he can sign on a free at the end of the contract, and we'll pay his wages. That's kind of like what they're going for. They're not. No one's really trying to give us money for Ainsley. Reece Nelson, though, I seen something today. Reece Nelson, he could actually be headed on his way out of the club. If I'm not mistaken, I seen something just a couple minutes ago. Reece Nelson could be sold according to Charles Watts. Yeah,
I think he just good for Reece, to be honest with you, and Arsenal. I just don't think it will work. I think he's even said himself recently in an interview that he wasn't doing the right things to push himself to the next level, and he's realizing it now. But it's too late at a club like Arsenal. I just don't think he's got what we need right now.
Yeah, I think for Reece, he's looking at Bukayo Saka and he's seeing what he could have done.
Yeah.
Going to Nuno now. Nuno is going to also be another person who's going to be loaned out, or at least sold. Maybe not sold, but loaned out. Pablo Mari is going to be sold. It's just we're waiting to see when that's going to happen. Runarsson, everything's frozen about Runarsson. I haven't heard anything on Runarsson.
Terrible transfer.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on Runarsson, but that was a terrible transfer. It was high risk, high reward, but it just ended up to low risk, high reward. But the risk ended up being that we got kicked out of a cup competition because of him. Saka, we've already spoken about it. Gabriel Magalhaes has already spoken about it. So yeah, so the main people: Leno, Torreira, Ainsley, Reece Nelson, what's the name? Nuno, Mari, Runarsson, and Pepe. Yeah. I said it yesterday. You can make a whole starting 11. Basically. You can make a whole starting 11 of players that could leave this club.
Yeah. I think that's what we need, to be honest with you. But as long as we bring in the right profiles, I'm ready to trust, but I think pressure goes on at the beginning of the season. I think we're done with the whole building. We need to be back in that Champions League, and I also expect a trophy. But I'm sure that we'll talk more about that in the coming months.
100%. Colleen, this has been a great show. Thank you. Lovely to have you back on the show. Everybody who's been watching the show right now, do me a favor, put a round of applause for Colleen. Always one of my favorite guests to have on. And you guys have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day, guys. Hopefully Arsenal can get some transfer work done. And this has been today's update on Arsenal transfer news, talking Arsenal. And you guys have yourselves a great, great day. Obviously, if you want to follow Colleen on her socials, her Twitter is right. Where is it? There.
Yeah.
And you can catch me on TikTok and on YouTube and on Twitter at EGTV Eagle. But we're out, guys. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day.
Yeah.